Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is The Thing number 10 by John Byrne, pencils by Ron Wilson, and inks by Hilary, Barta. So, yeah, this is a very interesting comic. This is continuing on my Path of Secret Wars. So this is the last time we see these three before they get sucked into the Beyonders little game. Here we get a pretty, we get a great cover here with the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, and the Human Torch. Not sure if Ron Wilson actually penciled this. I think this is this. It's Wilson, but it's inks by Rubenstein. So okay, so different inker. So here's the deal about this book. Writing by John Byrne is pretty good. It's a side story by the Thing. So let's jump into it. The art. I don't know if it's necessarily Ron Wilson or Hilary Barta, but both the inks and the pencils are not, they're not really that great. Yeah, John Byrne, like, I know he was probably too busy doing Fantastic Four and Alpha Flight at this time, but man, yeah, this thing would have been a lot better with him drawing it. Anyway, we join Ben Grimm, the Thing. He's with his current girlfriend. I believe this is, Alicia Masters. So his girlfriend's blind, so she can't really see him as he is, but they're having a conversation, and it's pretty long and involved, and essentially what's going on here is Ben is trying to break up with Alicia. Not because he doesn't love her, but because he feels that he can't give Alicia the life that she deserves with him being the Thing. Then you get these really weirdly drawn little brats that come in and bug him. Yeah, this is where the art just kind of like, especially in the first 3 pages, I'm not feeling this. This is kind of my problem with Power Pack, too. Like, I've read a couple issues of Power Pack, and I'm always like, I can't get into this. And so they go over, they pester the Thing, and, his girlfriend, you see this right here, Ron Wilson, Hilary Barta, this isn't up to snuff. Because this looks so flat. There's a lot of artwork in here that just looks really flat. Like you see here, this doesn't have depth. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not saying like I'm some master artist, but like it feels like just the proportions and normally Marvel art, especially of this time, tend to have a feeling of depth to it and sort of action. This is not so hot. It's not the worst. I mean, this is actually pretty good. I kind of like this. But anyhow, going back to the story, Ben gets pissed off these kids. He just proceeds to bust up a statue to tell them to buzz. Then he drags Alicia over to the Baxter building. When he goes up top, Johnny starts talking some smack, and Ben's like, shut up. And then he goes over here, and we meet up with Reed and Sue, and at this time, Sue was pregnant, and Reed is kind of trying to take care of her because she's at her last month or so before the child's born, and he's kind of explaining what he's doing here, and you get a back and forth between Ben. It's actually pretty interesting, and it kind of leads into some background to the Fantastic Four. Which is very good, because if you look at the beginning, right, there's a lot of narration, but technically John Byrne doesn't do a complete explanation of Ben Grimm and his situation, other than he's walking in the park with his girlfriend and how he looks. But now he goes over and he grabs a beer, sits down with his lady, and he goes over and explains sort of the true reality, right? And this is just the origins of the Fantastic Four. How they got their powers, all this other stuff, their first encounter with U.S. soldiers. Did Mile High Comics literally buy every single freaking double-page spread down the center staple? Dude, what the hell? How'd you guys have this much money? Anyhow, we get some fun flashback and action, and a lot of the narration really builds up Ben's frustration and his central conflict as a character. Right, the Thing as a character, very powerful, nearly indestructible. Almost on the same level as the Hulk, But unlike the Hulk, Ben Grimm can never change himself back to being just Ben Grimm. He will always be the Thing. He will always be this monstrosity, and he always has to live with that no matter what. And that's core to his central character. And yeah, man. So he's like, this actually gets kind of emotional because the writing, at least, the art, not so much. Especially here where Reed gains like freaking 30 pounds in one panel. But the writing by John Byrne kind of helps you sort of get over the art by Ron Wilson and Hilary Barta. But yeah, man. Oh, man. Yeah, this one really hurts. Ugh. But yeah, what do I think about this? It's a great character comic on Ben Grimm by John Byrne. And you'll see that John Byrne actually mirrors his style when we go over Uncanny X-Men 180, which is Chris Claremont's last comic before Secret Wars. He also does a character piece part. And we'll go over that in maybe a week, actually. We'll see. I got to go do some more Teen Titans. Got to mix it up right here. People are probably like, what's up with all this Marvel crap? But, yeah. So Reed comes by, tells him, hey, shit's going down. We got to go. So he's unable to finish this conversation. Sue and Alicia kind of sit down and talk to each other. Here these guys go, and they look at this massive flash that occurs in Central Park. And this was a really cool panel, so I drew it, but I did it very differently. And what I decided to do was move the horizon line up a little bit and practice my perspective a little bit. So it's essentially the same scene, but what I've done is just push out the horizon line and just try to redraw with a different perspective. Now, again, because I changed the size of the panel, I've kind of changed the size of everything else. And by pulling the horizon line up a little bit, you're kind of looking over to these guys. But, yeah, not bad. I didn't do the detail just because I looked at this and I was like, I don't really have time. And I really need to work more on my perspective because I felt like I wasn't drawing very well with perspective. And I haven't done drawings like these in a while, so I wanted to try this. Not bad for the most part. Definitely room for improvement. I think technically these lines are different. So I have to draw this perspective a little differently. But yeah, I'm going to do more of these anytime I see a 1 or 2 point perspective to just get more practice in. Anyhow, the guys talk here, and Reed is basically telling them, okay, this is serious. Something bad is going on. And they go over to this Coliseum, which we've seen like plenty of times now. What's really interesting here is John Byrne does a much better job of narrating what's going on and what these guys are walking into. And these guys themselves start walking in the arena, and they're kind of like, hey, why does it seem like there's something weird going on here? Why is it, so calm, so inviting when we go in? And then you get this great dialogue here. It's a trap. And they get launched into the Beyonders realm and into Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. Overall, much better than the last issue, Iron Man. So, what are my overall thoughts on this one? Yeah. Writing by John Byrne, very good. Art, not so much. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of Ron Wilson's pencils and Hilary Barta's inks. It could be a lot better. But the story was good, and my only regret is I wish John Byrne would have drew this himself. Anyhow, that's the review. Let me know what you guys think. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. If you got any comments on the thing, John Byrne's Fantastic Four, or these really mediocre art, or also my mediocre art, leave it down below. And I will see you guys next time.